We're going to kick off Sunday's card for round 7 Liga MX. We're going to start it in Mexico City. Pumas is at home. Monterrey is on the road. Monterrey, guys, haven't been, I don't think they've been too great on the road. The only teams that they faced on the road have been the lower skilled, lower table teams. Now that they have to go into Pumas, now that they got to go to Mexico City, I'm not so sure. And why Pumas is plus 170? Maybe I think it has to do with the fact that they just survived Puebla. They literally just survived Puebla. But I do think that is a lot of value to get with a Pumas team. With a Monterrey team that hasn't been as impressive at home, on the road, I think this match ends up being a draw. I think both of these lines are just really off. Pumas, I think that's a lot for being a home dog, especially with this team. Again, guys, Pumas is considered one of the biggest teams in the Liga MX, one of the biggest teams with money, with being competitive, all of that. They have been through a bad stretch of years as of recently. Maybe in the last 5-10 years, they haven't been as big or successful as they should be, but they're still considered a big team. But I think this game ends in a draw, in a very boring Sunday Mexico City type of draw. I think this is gonna, again, I usually don't watch these Sunday games just because I have other things usually going on. I'm out with the family or something like that, and I don't get to watch these middle of the day Sunday games. But I think this ends up a draw. I think this ends up a 1-1 Pumas draw, salvaging 1 point after surviving Puebla. And then I think they survive Monterrey as well. So I'll take a draw in this match. I don't really like anything else if I'm being honest. So I'll just take that plus 245 draw. So we're going to finish round 7 with a banger of a match of Querétaro versus Juarez. But seriously, guys, both of these teams, uninteresting, I guess is the right way to say it. Juarez obviously playing a little bit better. They're used to finding, they've been able to find the back of the net in most of their matches. Querétaro coming off of a 3-0 shutout against San Luis. That's a tough one to bounce back from, guys. If I'm being honest, I think this ends up, I hate to sound like a repetitive, broken record. I think this ends up being a 1-1 draw or maybe even a Juarez win. I think you're getting a lot of value for Juarez. The best way I like to play this one, it's going to be the both team to score. It's going to be the over 2. Maybe just a flat-out 2.5. We'll take a quick look at it, guys. Let's see. Total goals, yeah. Over 2.5, plus 115. That's not too bad for a game that could very easily go 2-1 on either side. But I don't really like a side in this one. I think it ends up being a 1-1. I think it ends up being a 1-1 draw or a Juarez 2-1 win, guys, honestly. It's just Juarez, they just lost to Necaxa, and that was at home on their turf. It was a 2-1 loss. See how common that score is, 2-1. It was a 2-1 loss, but they did manage to score. Not being shut out, I take that very as a positive. If a team loses but they're not getting shut out, I think that's a very good sign, and it just gives me a little bit more confidence to bet on them in the next game, especially when I like to play the both teams to score a lot and overs a lot. So as long as we're getting goals, I can find something for their next game. And this is a perfect example of it. They're playing Querétaro, a team that just got shut out 3-0. Now Querétaro is back in their home turf. Juarez doesn't exactly play as great on the road as they do at home, but I still think they can score, especially against a Querétaro team who was probably just going through it right now. So I like both teams to score. I like over 2.5. Look at the 2.5. Don't look at the over 2, guys. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. Look at the over 2.5. I mean, even if you just get over 1 in the first half for plus 1 or 2, I think that's a ton of value, in my opinion. I think the result does end up being a draw, though, probably 1-1 if I'm being honest. Quiet Sunday, that type of thing. But both teams to score, I would say that's my best bet. That's my best bet for this game. I like the draw. And then I like the over 2.5. Whenever you have the draw and the 2.5, it is so difficult to hit both, guys. It really is. Because with 2.5, you need at least 3 goals. And the only way that there's going to be a draw after you hit over 2.5 is if it goes 2-2. And that score, that kind of result is just not so common in Liga MX, if I'm being honest. 2-2 draws are not happening every card. If anything, you're probably going to get a 2-2 match maybe once every 2 weeks, once every two cards, or every two rounds. So like this past week there was a 2-2 match. I don't think we're gonna get the next one until maybe next week. If I'm being honest, I don't think we're gonna get one this week. And I'm talking it has to be 2-2, 3-3, that kind of thing. For over 2.5 to hit and for the draw to hit. That just doesn't happen too often. So there's a good chance you're losing one of them. If you go with a draw, there's a good chance it's probably going to end up just 1-1 and you lose your over 2.5. But if you lose your draw, there's a good chance you're going to hit your over 2.5 going 2-1, because 2-1 I think is definitely a lot more common than like a boring 1-0 shutout. So play with caution. You don't have to play both sides. If you like the draw, like here, for things to go absolutely perfect, it needs to be 2-2. That's a tough thing to ask for when you want to play the draw, the 2.5, and both teams to score. So sometimes just going both teams to score is probably your best value shot, in my opinion. So you don't have to copy what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to break it all down for you guys, give you guys the best information. Do what you please with your money. You worked hard for your money, so be careful. If you're not afraid to take your shots, hey, take your shots. It might work out for you. All right, guys. So that's gonna wrap up Liga MX card for round 7 this week, the 20th, 21st, 22nd of February, guys. All right, guys. Good luck. Let me know what your bets are for Sunday.